is the server's well-known address. After two stream sockets are connected, data can be transferred in either direction using read function and write function. Once all processes with a file descriptor referring to a stream socket endpoint have performed an implicit or explicit close function, the connection is terminated using that close function. Okay, a typical datagram socket server creates a socket using socket function and then binds it to a well-known address using bind. Because datagram sockets are connectionless, the server's socket can be used to receive datagrams from any client. Alright, so now what we are going to do, that we are going to add a few of the header files. So one is sys/socket.h. okay, the fourth header file that we need to have is stdlib.h. okay, the fifth one that we need to have is net inet, okay, net inet slash in.h. alright, and then we need to have the string.h as well. Okay, and after that we are going to define the port, which is going to be, let's say, 8080. okay, it could be anything else. Okay, so now inside the code, what we're gonna do, that we're gonna do a few things. So first of all, we need a few variables. So we write here integer server underscore, let's say, fd, comma, then we write here new socket. So we are gonna write here a few variables. So let's write here server, and let's say server fd, then we put a comma here, then we have a new socket, we call it n underscore socket, and then after that we have a value to read. Okay, so we call it, let's say, vRead. alright, then we put a semicolon, and after that we create a structure for address. So we write here structure, let me just write here structure, and then we write here socket underscore addr underscore addr in, socket underscore addr in, and then we basically, let's name it address. Okay, and after that what we're gonna do, that we're gonna define an integer here, integer opt equals 1, and then basically we're gonna get the length of the address. So we write here integer addr underscore length, let's say. Okay, and then we put an equal sign here, and we write here size of, and inside of that we basically pass the variable, this one, which is address. Okay, so after that we put a semicolon here, we come to the next line, and here we create a character buffer and 1024, then we put here an equal sign, and then inside of that we put 0. We come to the next line, and here we basically have a character static welcome, or let's call it static hey equals, and let's say hey I am server. Okay, so what we are gonna do, that we are gonna basically print it at the time of the connection making. Okay, so after that, now what we are gonna do, we are going to create socket file descriptor, and for that we would have here the if condition, if, and inside this if we're gonna write something like this, serve underscore fd, and then after that we're gonna put here an equal sign, and after that we're gonna write here socket, and in here I'm gonna write AF underscore INET. I'll explain to you everything later, okay, after writing the code, that what this AF underscore INET does. So then we write here sock underscore stream, alright, then we put a comma and then a 0, alright, and then after that we basically here we put equal double equal 0, alright. So if that is equal to 0, it means that socket has failed, alright. So we'll write here p error, we come to the next line and we write here p error, and then we write here socket connection or socket failure, alright. We'll put a semicolon here, we come to the next line here, and then we simply exit it, okay. So now after that we have to do one more thing, that we have to forcefully attach socket to the port 8080 that we have defined earlier. So for that what we would do, we'd write another if condition, and we'd write here set sock opt, okay, and after that inside of it what we are gonna do, we're gonna write here server underscore FT, and then we're gonna write here comma SOL underscore socket comma, then we're gonna write here SO underscore reuse ADDR, and then we're gonna write here SO underscore reuse port, then we're gonna put here comma, and after that we're gonna write here and OPT comma size of, and we're gonna write here OPT, okay. So once you do that, after that you're gonna come here, you're going to create a body of the if, and inside if body you are going to write here p error, and inside here you write set sock opt error, okay, and after that you write here exit. So the code is lengthy, so I will complete writing it and then I'll get back and then I'll explain to you, okay. And after that you are going to write here address, which is the structure, then you write here sin underscore family equals af underscore inet, okay, then you put a semicolon here, you come to the next line and after that you write here address dot sin underscore addr dot f underscore addr. Okay, and then you put an equal sign here, and then you write here in addr underscore any, then you put a semicolon here, and after that you write here address dot sin underscore port, then you write here equal sign, then you write here HTONS brackets, and inside these brackets you're gonna write port that you have defined. Okay, and after that what you're gonna do, that you're going to forcefully attach socket to the port 8080. So now you're going to attach socket to the port 8080 using the bind function. Okay, so now what we would do, we're gonna write server underscore fd, then we put a comma here, and in here we're gonna define a structure, struct sock addr static, and then right after the bracket we're gonna write here and address. Okay, and after that we put a comma, then we write here size of, and inside we pass the address. Okay, and if all of that is less than 0, it means that there is some sort of error, it is -1. So what we would do, would write here bind failure, and then we basically simply exit it. And in here basically this is the serve fd. Okay, the variable name has to be correct, so we'd write here listen, and inside of that would write serve underscore fd, then we write our comma 3, and then we write here if that is less than 0, then basically there is a listening error, so we'd write here p error. So we write here listen error, put a comma here, and then we want the program to be exit. So now after that what we are going to do, that we are going to write here the new socket that we want to attach, that we want to accept. So we basically we are kind of handling an exceptions, you can say. Okay, all the possible errors that could come, so we are handling them in advance. So we write here new socket, alright, and then we put here an equal sign, and then we write here accept, and inside the accept we are going to pass a few arguments. First one is server fd, then we put a comma here, then inside of that we write the same thing, struct sock addr static, and then right after this bracket I'm gonna write here and addr. Okay, ESS, then we're gonna put a comma here, and after that I'm gonna write another bracket, and inside this bracket I'm gonna write sock len underscore t static, and then I'm gonna write here and addr len, then after two brackets I'm gonna write here less than 0. Okay, and then I write here curly braces, and inside these curly braces basically I'm gonna have the same error, and I can say accept error. Okay, if that doesn't return basically